Blog Talk Radio.
It seems like I got nothing to do. Hit up Sim Standard Radio. I'm listening to one of the top podcasts, and they bringing you the real. And when they talk sports, it feels like you on the field. From real talk to real sports, from Madden to 2K, just listen for one day. They'll grab you and you say it's on the net, man. Turn off your stereo, not music. I mess with Sim Standard Radio.
What's up, guys? What's up, man? Sim Standard Radio back for another episode 56. And like always, we got a lot to talk about tonight, man. We want to give a shout out to Job Turkey for providing the intro, like always. We're going to jump right into it, man. I know we say this every week, but we're trying to trim down on the topics, or at least the amount of time we spend on them. Because lately it seems like we've been getting a lot of calls, which we definitely like. And we reached out to the community again, and we got a great topic, from one of our loyal callers, 205, gave us a nice topic to talk about. So we'll go ahead and jump into that. But before we do so, go ahead and check with Smitty, man. What's going on tonight?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. Looking forward to another great show. And, yeah, like you said, Sam, we do need to scale it back on the dialogue, at least on our end, because, we could go on all day. But, no, man, I'm looking forward to everything that's going on. And, also, I just want to make a real quick statement, man. It was brought to my attention, some folk, certain folk out here are upset because we're not uploading content at the rate they desire. All I need to say is just this, sometimes some people trip over themselves because they don't pay attention to you as much as they should to truly know what's going on. And this is a clear case of that here. And this individual's blocked by two of the three here. But nevertheless, if you pay attention to what's going on, you would find all the answers you need right there. But because you don't bother to either A, ask questions, or B, just assume you know what's going on, and you're so worried about self-glory, that's why you miss the whole big picture from Jump Street. But that's what happens when people make situations about themselves instead of focusing on the goal. You know what I'm saying? And we made that abundantly clear in terms of what our objective and our goals are in regards to this show, in terms of what we do, in terms of our effort when we put out video content and things of that nature. Because I'll say it again, that Sim has said many times over, just remember, this show, this does not have to be done. The vids that are posted publicly, we don't have to do that. So I just want to make sure that people, certain folk out here, Mr. Moody, understand, along with others, that, we don't do this stuff for personal gain or anything like that. We do this stuff because of the passion that we have. And plus, we want people to be informed. We don't want to hoard information and just keep it to ourselves, because we don't think that's fair. So I just wanted to state that real quickly, and I just want to make that crystal clear. Because I already know once folks are in front of other individuals, ain't nothing gonna get said. All this greasy talk on Twitter and these videos, pumping out all that Keith Thug and Harmony talk, is gonna die right off as soon as somebody's right in front of your face. So I ain't worried about any of that stuff, man. But I just wanted to make that statement real quickly. But it's an exciting time at this moment. We got the announcement that EA tracks are coming, they're back in the game. That was announced earlier today. And I don't know if you know about this, Sim, as well. I don't think it's something to hit on necessarily, but EA is doing a play test next week. Public play test they had announced a few days ago, actually. And King Havo, he's gonna be one of the attendees. They picking out of 24 people they're picking to publicly play test and give feedback in regards to Madden 16. And he's going to be one of the guys going down there. So that's what's up. That's huge right there. Like, I'm proud that he's going to get to try the game out before E3 and all that. And, he's going to have that hands-on experience. So there, but I don't know if you knew about that or not, Sim. So just wanted to shoot that out there.
No, man. Actually, I didn't. And listen, for everybody who's listening in, that's great news. That's great. That's great. And for one, for two reasons. I'm gonna say this. First thing is they're doing a public testing, not with actual testers that come in and do this regularly, not with game changers, but people who are available in the public. It could be any one of you guys who are close enough or in the area to do it. And for somebody like King Havo, just making sure I'm saying his name correct, that's great because we all know who he is. We all know what he brings to the table. We all know there's no biasness with him. Regardless of how you feel about myself or whoever else, this is just a guy in the community that pretty much hasn't really played that much. Publicly has said that, he's found value in games like Backbreaker and APF and things like that. If you guys remember a few weeks back, he had given us one of those topics to talk about. So it's great to hear a regular guy going to have the chance to go down, play it, and then I'm sure, and I know if he hears this show, we're giving you the invitation right now, and I know you don't even need the invitation. I'm sure my man's going to call in on the show, chop it up with us, and we can talk about his experience and things like that. And I want him to be as brutally honest as possible because remember, guys, to my knowledge, and I don't know how the testing works, but I don't think he will be under an NDA. So I'm not sure, though. Let me preference that. I'm not sure because maybe there's stuff that they still might not want to be said. But I'm almost certain if it's public like that and guys are being elected, I'm almost certain that he'll be able to at least share his experience. Because remember, it's happening this weekend, right, Smith? Isn't it fairly soon?
No, it's next week. Next Tuesday, I think. Matter of fact, the 9th.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was the 9th or for some reason I was thinking the 5th. So I'm thinking it was like tomorrow or whatever. But either way, guys, keep this in mind. E3 is the following week. So any lid he would have to keep on the game basically what goes out the window the very next week. So I'm very happy about that to hear from someone else in the community that can give his opinion. But before we move on, I also wanted to, state something real quick. And Smitty actually reminded me of it by him saying what he said. This goes out to everybody in this community that we have here as far as this football gaming world. I'm getting too many requests, or not even requests, questions. People are asking me, and let me say this first, because maybe not everyone knows this. So, Brian Moody is going to E3. I'm going to E3. I can't begin to tell you guys how many questions and things I'm getting about what you're going to do when you see him. What's going to happen when y'all there? And this and that. Listen, first of all, let me tell you like this. I could care less as far as interacting, with him in a public setting. I don't care about that. I'm not going there for that. I've already been in a setting with him. And my concern is with this community is why is that news? Well, what y'all want to hear about, oh, we went down there and there was a fight for real? That's what's important. Nobody is giving me information or, feedback on what they want me to do while I'm there as far as interviews, capture and stuff like that. I'm telling you, if I were to show you guys all of the people who say, so what's going to happen when you... Listen, first of all, I'm a grown man. I'm all for that. Second of all, ain't going to be none of that. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if it is some of that, I don't even think that's what he wants to go down. I'm going to keep it very frank. But I ain't going there for that. And I would assume that he's not going there for that. And I've already stated to you guys, I don't really get down with him no more. I've been on record saying that he's just not a guy that I'm focused on. He's said too much out of his mouth. Y'all know that. How many times have you heard me directly say anything? I don't. Anytime when I reply, it's usually a reply to when somebody else is saying. I see what's going on. I see, the recklessness talked about me on Twitter and all that. I see all of that. So what's going to happen if I see him there? I see him there. I ain't got no words for him. I probably won't even speak. I've dismissed that. He's no concern of mine. Now, I would hope for his sake that he could be cordial. We standing in the same section. Hey, we might even be bumping shoulders. I'm a grown man. I ain't got no problem with you personally, like, because at the end of the day, this is still all about internet and video games. But I mean, if you want to carry it like that, then hey, it is what it is. Y'all can, figure that out for yourself. But I'm not going for that. I'm a grown man. I'm about business. I ain't got nothing to do with none of you guys on the internet as far as personal. I'm not going there for that. So I'm very disappointed in people who are asking that question. Like, come on, man, are we kids? What y'all want us to do? Be at each other's throats in person? Get into a fight? That's very petty and that's very childish. But like I said, and I'm sure he's gonna hear this. Listen, I have no problem me and you being in the same section, whatever. I ain't got no problem with you personally. I ain't lashing out at you. I don't do that. You're the one who talks nasty about me. Everybody knows that, but people seem to not mention that. But I'm mentioning that tonight. And it is what it is. I hope we both go out there and we handle that business and get the information for the community. It ain't got nothing to do with you or me. So I'm saying that to you right now because, in case you're saying little stuff, to your followers, well, this and this and that. I'm just putting it out there for you like that. Handle yourself accordingly. Be professional. Be respectful. Don't bring no static to me at E3 because listen, I'm telling you, that ain't what you're trying to do. And that ain't what I'm trying to do. But I needed to say that because everybody is keep asking these questions like, like I'm sitting over here, wait till I see him there. Boy, I'm going to do this. Man, come on, son. It ain't, no. Stop all of that. And I'm very disappointed. And some of you guys are grown men too. Like, people that could have been respected at one time. And y'all are asking me that question. Like, come on, man. What does this community come to when it comes down to that? I needed to say that, man.
Yeah.
So I had to say that because I've been getting too many requests. And like I told you guys, I don't do the Twitter thing no more and all of that. If there's ever going to be any talk, any brief talk about anything else going on in the community, it would be on the live radio show. It doesn't need to be on a Skype call, which, that's another thing I had to say real quick. Guys, I see people talking about, he thinks he's a celebrity. You got to call his show. He won't get on a Skype call. Why you can't call live radio? Unlike you, and this guy knows who he is. I ain't even going to say his name, but unlike you, I'd rather speak like an adult and, act like some men live where everybody can be the judge. Not hide behind a Skype call where nobody can hear it because I don't do sucker stuff either. I ain't going to record it and then throw it up on YouTube like a chump. I ain't doing that. I'd rather talk to you live. You got an issue, call the show.
Yeah, real simple.
Plain and simple. But let's move on, man.
That's what any radio show. That's what any radio show though. If you listen to sports talk radio, politics, anything like that, it ain't you sitting before judges and you're the little peasant walking into the court and they're holier than thou. No, it's you call into you hear what they're saying. Hey, I got my 2 cents I want to add in. Okay, I pick up the phone and I call and I give my opposing viewpoint. And I give it tactfully. I don't call in like I'm some dunce, like I don't know how to speak or conduct myself accordingly. And then I get my point across respectfully. And then I move on. It's that simple. And we open the door to everybody.
But, that's it, man. And like I said, let me say it one more time, and I'm going to make sure it's clear. This is a message to anybody else who's pumping this up, and a message to Ryan Moody as well. Bruh, I have no problem with you. All of the stuff that you're saying about me, that's your own opinion. I can't stop you from doing that. Do that all you please. But just in case you hear, chatter in your ear about Simpson, listen, bruh. We see each other there. We see each other there. I have no personal issue with you. I'm just letting you know if there's any reason that you feel like, I'm going to talk to Sam or I'm going to come at him crazy. I'm just letting you know, don't do that. Don't do that, because I ain't going there for that. And you can take that however you want to take it. I'm just letting you know, bruh, chill. I ain't the one for all that. I'm not, I'm not no just some random dude. I don't get down like that. So what I'm saying is I'm not trying to be big and bad. I'm just letting you know what it is. just like shout out to my man Hip Hop Gamer, man. I don't know if you guys, and this is kind of the same topic, but I don't know if you guys saw his video that he put up a while back about he was talking about how gaming saved his life and like the Lord saved his soul. But I listened to the video and he said something in there. He talked about his past and he was basically saying like, yo, it ain't sweet. And I smile and all that stuff, but yo, you don't know me. That's basically what I'm saying. I think some people get it twisted. They get caught up in these YouTube personas and that's SimFBallCritic, the cheese, the old EA sell out, bruh. You don't know me. That ain't what you want. I ain't no sucker. I'm just letting you know. Don't come at me with no sideways. Like you don't want to do that. Cause I ain't no punk. You know what I'm saying? I'm a grown man too, so I think first. But you can't be all in my face with the rah-rah. Like, nah, bro. This is something different now. This ain't SimFBallCritic you dealing with. You dealing with me. And that's all I'm saying. But again, don't twist that up. People do not twist my words. I am not threatening. I'm not. I'm just saying, let's be cordial adults at E3. Let's both go there as representatives, do our business, and that be it. And again, I'm not saying that he's trying to do that. I'm just listening to all these comments, and this is what I would say to you, man. If you hear this, because I know somebody gonna tell you, listening to what these people are saying to me, they making it sound like you ready to approach me. So I don't know if that's really the case or if they pumping it up. I'm just letting you know, nah, it might not be the way you think. Don't do that. Don't steer away from what we're supposed to be doing here. Keep it video game. And that's all I'm saying. And when I see that, man, I ain't gonna be all in it. I ain't doing all of that. This one dude said, I bet you when you see him, you gonna run up on him. For what? This is how I know this community has lost sight of what we're supposed to be doing here. None of us know each other personally, except for a few of us here on this net. So how could you have that much of a problem with somebody when you see him? Oh, I'm gonna do. Yeah, right. But I had to say that, man. And I'm sorry for running on too much, but guys, I'm as real as it comes, man. I gotta address situations in real time as it comes to me, because I got messages like that a couple minutes before the show started, so it was fresh on my mind. But anyway, tonight we're gonna talk about the NBA Finals a little bit, man. We'll give our thoughts on the Finals itself, who we think will win and why will they win, who are some of the X factors, and how many games we expect to see. Would it be 6? Would it be a sweep? Would it go 7? What have you? And shout out to 205, man, because 205 gave us this topic for the night, and I think it's a great one. We want to talk about sim gamers compared to hardcore gamers. Are they the same thing? Do companies see them as different types of gamers? Do companies think sim gamers are harder to please? Are sim gamers respected in the community as a whole? And that's a very good topic, and I think we're really gonna dive into that because there's a lot that can spawn off of that topic. But then, last but not least, the last 2 topics we'll get to hopefully, and I'm sure we will. But NBA 2K15, the MyPlayer mode, there was a major glitch that was actually pointed out early on in the week where you could, just basically boost your guy. 7'2" point guards with killer handles, and these guys are able to get all of the badges. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there was like a video or something out there telling people how to do it. But the angle that we want to take, it's not that we're going to attack 2K. The angle that we want to take, and Smitty brought this up, we want to address the reason why there hasn't been a whole lot of fuss about it. We haven't seen a whole lot of people lash out about that. Why is that? Why isn't people speaking out about that issue? Why are we not holding all the games to the same standard? And, of course, we say this all the time. Do people turn a blind eye to 2K? And then, of course, we want to finish up with NBA Live 16, man. This will be an interesting one. I want to know, and we definitely want to know how excited you guys may be about Live 16. I've seen people go as far as saying, and I loved it. I've seen, I'm not even going to say who it is. Maybe he'll call in and he'll say it himself. He has no shame. But he said he's actually more excited for Live 16 than Madden 16. And that's interesting because I definitely want to hear everyone's thoughts. I understand why he said that. Let me just say that. I know why he said that, but I want to hear maybe why other people might feel that way. And what are your expectations for Live 16? Understanding that this is, I guess we could say, the third year Live will be back. Some people thought Live, myself included, as well as Smitty, Live 15 has some things in there. I mean, there's some quality things in that game. If you can, I don't want to be cruel by saying this, but I'll say this for the sake of the argument. If you can stomach playing the game, it definitely looked ugly at times, stiff. But if you could get past that, and if you look at it if you dissect it the way some of us guys do in the community and try to find the good in it, there's some things in there that if they build on it, that game could be something. And that will lead to the last point in regards to Live. Do you think it has a real chance of being a competitor as far as this upcoming title? So I guess, Smitty, man, we'll go ahead and jump into the finals topic, man. We'll go ahead and knock that out. This is a tough one for me, man. I mean, I could say so much, but I'm gonna try to be real quick. I don't know. I can't call it right now. I mean, I know like Vegas and everybody else is saying the Warriors and 6, or some people are saying it's going 7, but it seems like a lot of people are going with the Warriors. But to me, it comes down to what teams show up each night they play. Because as we know, the Warriors are fantastic and they are exciting to watch when they're hitting those shots, when they're shooting from behind the arc, and when people like Klay Thompson is just shooting these wild angles and they're just falling. And, the chance of him scoring 37 points in a quarter. And Steph Curry just, that quick release, he has one of the fastest releases I've ever seen, especially on a 3-point shot. And it just seems to fall all the time. But what happens when they're off? We've seen that. For us guys who really watch sports, we saw that Houston series. There was some situations there where you can see what happens to them when that shot is not working. To me, they don't really have a huge presence down low. You got Bogut, which I think Bogut is enough of a hustle player that can help you in certain areas. Rim protector, might get you a few buckets. I like my man Draymond Green, but let's be honest, Draymond Green doesn't necessarily play a big boy game. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he, just to use a reference, he's not a big boy bruiser type like a Zach Randolph. To me, Draymond has a in-between kind of game, because he kind of stays out in the perimeter sometimes. He pulls 3-point shots as well, but he doesn't really bang down low. He's just one of those play hard type of guys. He's going to get you some rebounds. He's going to drive coast to coast, and get in there. He's going to hit a couple threes here and there if he's on. Then you got Harrison Barnes, same type of guy as far as threes. He'll pop up and shoot a 3 on you at times. Sometimes he'll try to take the game over like he did against Houston. And what was it, the third or the fourth quarter when he got hot. But then outside of that, it's kind of like, who do you go to if the shots ain't falling? Legitimately. Now, where I will say the Warriors, I think, have the edge as far as the bench. I like the Warriors bench a little better, definitely than the Cavs. When they go with, Livingston and Iguodala and those kind of guys, Barbosa, excuse me. Those guys are not huge, scorers, but if you watch their, all of their series, man, in the playoffs, those guys come in and they kind of give, solidify, the bench scoring. They get points. Those dudes hustle. They're all over the place. You look at Cleveland's bench, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, because to me, let me say this real quick before I'm going to go to Cleveland, then I'll throw it to Smitty. To me, it's going to come down to both teams. I think they're going to have to go deep into their benches. I don't think it's going to be one of them games where the starters are just killing it, one of those series, because I think it's going to be a real chess match. Because now if you flip over to Cleveland, now you got to ask yourself, okay, first of all, who's guarding LeBron? I'm not saying he's unguardable, but that's a very valid question, because let's just say, hypothetically, they throw somebody like Klay Thompson on him. Now, no knock to Klay. Well, we saw what happened to him in that Houston series. Harden was giving that boy the business. So much so the way I had to tweet out like, yo, man, I haven't really watched a lot of their games. Is Klay Thompson's defense not good, or is it just Harden is that good? Which one is it? You can make the same argument about LeBron James. If Klay Thompson is guarding him, I'm pretty sure he's going to be as successful as James Harden was. We don't know if he's going to guard him. I'm just throwing out scenarios. Number two, who's going to guard Kyrie? I mean, Steph Curry is a nice player overall, but Steph, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think Steph is known for lockdown defense. And, you know, Kyrie, if he's healthy, that's a big if. But I ain't even going to go into that because I could be all night. If that boy is healthy, though, you know, Kyrie also can attack. He don't just pull up. He can attack off the dribble, and that could get some people in foul trouble. Then you got to look at the X factor. J.R. Smith. Which J.R. Smith is going to show up? The one that's shooting all over the place? Maybe there's a game where it's just shot for shot for shot. It's Klay and Steph against J.R. Smith. They just shooting buckets. But don't forget, J.R. Smith can slash too if he wants to, which could cause another threat. And that's why I said it could be a chess match. Because if I'm the coach, I'm going to be like, let's switch it up a little bit. We're not going to do our traditional. Maybe J.R. drives to the rack. Then you got your boy Shumpert. Defense. Maybe they throw him on Steph. I don't know. I'm just throwing out scenarios. And listen, I'm not saying I'm the basketball wizard. I could be missing points. That's why I can't wait till we bring the calls in. Some of you guys can elaborate on that. And actually, can't wait till I throw it to Smitty in just a sec. Because I know Smitty is the historian. Smitty is into sports more than most people I know. So I know he's going to break it down very well. But it's just, I'm just saying to you guys, this is the reason why I can't call it. Because so many different things can happen. And the last point I would say, I think Cleveland has the advantage in the paint. They don't have a tremendous score, but I'm thinking Tristan Thompson, if he comes on like he did in the last series, rebounding, offensive rebounding, hustling, and then Moskov gives you a little bit, they're going to beat Bogut up. So it's interesting, man. I don't know. And as far as games, only because I can't say who has a clear edge, I think it might go 7. My prediction before I throw it to Smitty, I'm trying to play my Stephen A. Smith role here and be like, I'm not gonna call it yet, but
he already did.
Yeah, I know, but you know what, leading up to, you know how they always do. I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna call it, but it's like, if I gotta lean one way, and I'm still not sure, but I'm just gonna say something. I think if it goes 7. Because of experience and because, like I said, I don't think you live by the 3 and die by the 3. And when you die hard. I think Cleveland is 7. If it comes down to a close series, I see LeBron's experience and his hunger taking it over. Who knows? Maybe the lights are too bright for Golden State. Let's just be honest. This is new territory for them. And like I said, we saw how they folded. They may have won, but they folded against Houston, man. They had them finished. And Houston won 2 games in a row. Let's just keep it honest. So, Cleveland is 7, I guess. But I don't know. And I don't care who wins. But I do think if LeBron wins this one for Cleveland, that'll be a heck of a story. Heck of a story. You won't be able to take much from him if he came back and won a championship. Even though it was an easy road to the finals this time. But come on, Smitty. I know you got a lot to say, man. I'm loving the fact that I get to listen to you and break this down.
Well, the thing is that both of these teams in the finals are both teams a chance. Because if what's my man's name? If Tony Allen didn't go down due to injury, who's to say they would have made it? Who's to say we'd possibly be talking about Memphis being in the finals right now?
Very true.
If David Blatt, if the officials paid attention to Blatt calling for that timeout, who knows? Chicago could have won that series. And we're talking about Chicago matching up against Atlanta possibly. How about if Pau Gasol never went down for injury? You see what I'm saying? Once again, these are impactful pieces to these 2 teams making it. So it's not like these two teams are just outright just so overwhelmingly great that it's just like, you know what, these dudes were locked in to go. Like, no. So there were some key reasons as to why they got the matchups they got or where they got to and was able to get there. Now, one thing I will say, LeBron, I'm looking for the team that's going to possibly take the 0-4 Pistons approach. We're going to have somebody just play all out on the star players and make the rest of the team beat you. Now, which team has that kind of personnel at their disposal? Cleveland really doesn't. Unless J.R. Smith just balls out of his mind, you really don't have that luxury because guess what? He's going to have to guard either Clay or Steph Curry. Steph Curry's ball handling skills are retarded, and that jump shot release is ridiculous. So
amazing.
It's just, so it's just a matter of if his shot, like you're basically going to be banking on is this shot going to be on or not? Because they don't have somebody that's truly going to stick somebody hard enough like that. I mean, Schultz can play defense. Now, I'm not saying he's a slouch, but what I'm saying is he's not a bona fide all NBA defender. So who do they have that they could just throw out there and say, you know what, we're going to have you isolate these two key players and make you beat everybody else? When Golden State love to distribute the ball around by default. It just so happens that these two guys, Clay and Curry, are the hot hands. They're the hottest hands they got. So they'll give it up to anybody. It's not a black hole when they get the ball. Now, Cleveland, on the other hand, who's LeBron? Other than LeBron, what else? Okay, if Kyrie is healthy enough, now you got a concern. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I know that when it all comes down to it, they're going to be leaning on LeBron. If you neutralize LeBron, now let's say if you slow down LeBron just enough, and you got to make everybody else beat you, they can come away with the series. Yeah, Golden State.
I agree
and
with that.
Likewise, same deal on the flip side with Cleveland. If you neutralize or at least slow down Thompson and or Curry, when have you seen the rest of the team just beat you? When have you seen Golden State light it up like that without Curry or Clay? You know, at least one of those two guys putting in a legit performance. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sure they had some games during the year, but what I'm saying is it's a whole different setting now. So I don't think it's going to be, that's why I'm saying overall, it's going to be a matter of who's going to deploy that strategy. Which team is it that's going to do it and be effective with it? You know, that's going to be very vital to this series. And the last point I'll make about it is this. Like, I think the game can go 7. I think the game will go 7 games. Like, it could go 7 games. It really depends upon the defensive strategy. That's going to be the most important part of it here. But the point to add in regards of, LeBron been to the finals. Okay, yeah, that's true. He's been there. But these guys are playoff tested, though. The core of Golden State has been playoff tested. Even though they did slouch, they did go into cruise control. They went into idle on the Rockets. But I mean, we all knew that series was done. You know what I'm saying? We knew they were not about to come back and take it. So the key thing for this group is with this core nucleus right here, they've been through the playoff loss, the playoff strife of we get this great record, get in the playoffs, make it to a particular round, and get bounced right out. They've experienced that, 2-3 times together already. Now you're at this stage. They may be prepped to take on, whomever it is that they go up against. Because, mind you, anything can happen in a final series. The tide can turn real easy because how many pieces on that 0-4 Pistons team had finals championship experience? Not a single soul.
Mm-hmm.
But look what they did. But if it weren't for Kobe hitting a clutch three to send the game in LA to overtime, them boys was going home. Them boys was getting swept for nothing. So we can't, and this is what I'm saying. But the core of that Pistons team dealt with the same thing that the Warriors dealt with. They came up together of, okay, they made it past the first round, but they get to the second round and they get bounced out. They get to the conference finals, get bounced out. You know what I'm saying? They experienced that playoff, the strife of going through, winning games, getting a decent enough record to get a good seed, only to end up losing in the playoffs together as a unit. So now you're going to have that mindset to be like, look, I didn't experience loss in this kind of setting. I ain't trying to lose it. So they may go out there and they may shock some folks with how they come out. And not just because they have home court advantage for at least these first two games either, Golden State. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens, though. That's why I think this hopefully will be a very entertaining series.
Who wins it?
I think that if it comes down to a slower tempo pace battle of basketball, I think Cleveland is going to get it. I think Cleveland. I'll go up there on a limb and go for the under. Well, there ain't no underdog in here. Skip that. I'm calling it Cleveland in 7. I'll say Cleveland in 7. There ain't no underdog here.
Yeah, I agree with that as far as no underdog. It's crazy, man. Like I said, I just hope to be entertained because, truth be told, everybody knows I'm a Sixers fan, so it doesn't matter to me who wins. Like I said, it would be a wonderful story, for LeBron if you look at what he did, he came in at Cleveland, got him to the finals, lost, got criticized for going to Miami, went to the finals 4 straight times, won 2, leaves Miami, goes back to Cleveland and goes to the finals, and if he wins it, like, whether you're a LeBron fan or not, or even if you question how he won it, overall, it's going to be very hard to criticize, him as a player. You know what I mean? Like, that would be an amazing story. But also, on the flip side, if the Warriors win, it's almost like at the end of the day, you'd be like, well, they should have won. They was the quote-unquote best team in the league. They got the best backcourt, the shooting backcourt you might have ever seen. That could still be arguable, so I don't want to say ever. But they won, 67 games? So, it wouldn't be too crazy for us to see them win it. So, like you said, there's no underdog, man. And I think the only thing I will say real quick before we go to the next topic, if the Warriors can play the pace they want to play, and they just hitting buckets, there's 2 people on Cleveland I think could get ahead of themselves and start trying to match it and start taking bad shots. One, of course, everybody should know this one, J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith is the best bad shot guy I have ever seen in the NBA because he takes some whoa Nelly, and sometimes they go in. And I can see him trying to be like, forget that. Like, I'm going to just shoot to try to get back in the game. And also, that's where I think Kyrie Irving's maturity could be questioned. He might start feeling himself a little bit like, nah, we about to get this back. And not saying that you shouldn't do that, but sometimes when that's where the experience, I guess, kicks in when you don't remain a team. And then, like you said, if it has to just fall on LeBron's hands, it could be interesting. So we'll all be watching, man. So I hope it is very entertaining. Well, let's go ahead and jump into this next topic, man. And again, 205, I know he's on the line. Thanks for this topic, man, because this is a good one. And I'll throw it to Smitty first and get his take. But we want to know, man, is there a difference between sim gamers and hardcore gamers? And in that same respect, do these gaming companies see it different? Do they know of that? Do they know you got these guys that want it so real that, when their guy gets injured in the game, he's injured at home? You know what I'm saying? And is the hardcore gamer a different crowd? And, like I said, I'm going to throw it to Smitty and I'll give my reflect after him. But the last question in there that 205 wanted us to address is also, are sim gamers, I was about to say hardcore sim. I was about to contradict the whole statement right there. But are, let's say, diehard sim gamers respected in this gaming community. What you think, Smitty?
I think the true to life diehard gamers, and I ain't talking about people that are in this community because this is not the true diehard community. The true diehards are people that play NFL head coach 09 to this day. That's as diehard as it gets, because as much you have to go through playing that game, that's one of those niche. You're one of those niche gamers right there that are that are about that extreme depth and detail like that. Because as an overall, are they respected? Yes, because they can give you some real good quality feedback. But as people, as we all press for realism and we all want the authenticity and all that good stuff to be in the game, the problem with that is you have to balance it so everybody can enjoy it at the same time. Because and this is a point with CFM. Somebody posted this on Operation Sports, and this was an outstanding point. They said, a lot of people gave a lot of harsh criticism, some negative criticism by some in regards of it, or by a decent number. But the part that's being missed here is, wait a minute, look at how they simplified CFM with the interface they have. They made it more intuitive and easier and more streamlined, because these are the things that the casual gamers fear. Oh, I got to manage a salary. Oh, I got to manage players. Oh, I got to do all. You see what I'm saying? Like, those are things that they may not want to deal with. Making things simple or simpler and more accessible, you get more people playing your game. Or you get more people playing a mode, because as we've stated as a huge concern, and this would be something for another show, but we stated the concern about how CFM doesn't get that much attention, but MUT does. Well, they literally are taking something from MUT and they're implementing it into their mode now. They implemented it in terms of the interfaces and everything. The interfaces is there. So, when you're trying to strike that balance between the two, like you said, Tim, the injuries, big time trade happens. I want to be able to do it in the game. I want to see that trade reflect in my CFM. Well, how, and this is a big question though, in regards of all that realism. As a hardcore gamer, you're going to look at that and say, well, I'm going to have to start my CFM over. Now, it may not be a problem for the hardcore, the extreme hardcore guy, because they're going to play multi-year CFMs, and they're going to play all those games out. So they may not mind as much as starting over. But for the people that basically are in this community primarily, they want to be able to have something more streamlined along the lines of these moves can happen, but we need to see that exact same thing happen in I can have my CFM and whatever goes on, but then you have the real CFM. You have what's going on in the NFL, and I want to be able to merge all that together. So if I want to have the recent 3-team trade or the recent big signing or big deal or whatever it is that goes on, I want to be able to save and sync it up and do the exact same thing and have that kind of challenging mode go on in the game. Like how basically like what was done in NBA Live 10. They had that with their dynamic season. That's what it was. You had the NBA season. You had in comparison to your season. So you could start a franchise, and whatever happened in the NBA, you could sync it up with what you had going on in your league if you wanted to at any point. So if trades happen, all that good stuff, injuries and everything, you can sync that all up real time with what you got going on at the same time. Like, it was crazy, but it's but it was a nice idea, nice concept. But getting back to the main point, though, I really don't have a ton to say on that. But like I said, we are respected. But as I stated a few weeks ago, the casual gamers are just out there to play. They know that they're going to get the sale from them, and they're going to enjoy it. And their feedback of their points made are going to be very vague. But our feedback is going to be the one that gets the most weight added to it because we're the guys that Clint is on Twitter listening to. We're the guys that, Rex talks about and everything. We're working to get this game to be sim. We're doing this, we're doing that, etc. Blah, blah, splee, yada, yada. Like, all those things that he's saying. He's not saying all these things about sim and everything, and he's not shouting out, oh, the sim standard guys will like this. He's not shouting that kind of stuff out to a casual gamer. But yet, who's the majority of people that watch them live stream? It's not going to be sim guys. It's going to be casual. You see what I'm saying? So we do get respect. It's just more of a low-key underlying, we're more on the underground level. You know what I'm saying? In terms of the mainstream popularity, in terms of hearing from us, per se, versus, how you hear from the guys that are more casual, or I'd say more lukewarm in terms of the game. So I just want to put that out there. But I'll pass it to Sim, man. You give your thoughts on that, man.
Yeah, man. I think Smitty nailed it as far as his perspective on it. I really think sim gamers and hardcore gamers are different. And I'll give you the perfect example. Just look within the football community with Matt, or even with the Game Changer. We are simulation guys. We're the guys who want it to represent football to the fullest. I mean, if it's wet out there and you snap the ball and the quarterback's hands are wet, he fumbles. If the center goes down, like Marquise Pouncey goes down like he did in that year, and we got to bring the backup guy in, the third snap, he fumbles it. Him and Ben ain't got the right time. If a rookie doesn't practice, he doesn't know what he can do. He's lost. Ben calls the audible, he's sitting there like, huh? What? Hike? Runs the wrong route, I throw an interception. He's confused. You throw a young DB, somebody gets hurt, throw him out there. He's looking like a deer in headlights. All of that kind of stuff. The weather effects. That to me is a simulation, and the phrase I like, replication. That's a replication player. We wanted to replicate the sport. A hardcore gamer using the Game Changer program, and these are my guys. I always stick up for them. We've had our conversations, but after getting to know these guys, honestly, they're no different from us as far as what they want. They just choose to play the game the way they want to play. Gibbs and Farrell. They are hardcore Madden players. Not necessarily football guys. They are hardcore Madden guys. These are the guys who played in tournaments. These are the guys who play competitively, trying to get the competitive edge. If something works in the game, they use it until you figure out how to stop it. Not necessarily football principles. And I'm not saying they don't know football principles, because they actually know more than a lot of you guys would believe. But in terms of playing the game, they are hardcore Madden players. Two different crowds. Because even Farrell has told me on numerous occasions, hey, man, I want a simulation game as well. I want the game to not allow me to do that. Those are his words. And for that, I respect him all the way. And in a way, he's right. Who am I to say how you play your game? But my only thing is the game should understand and recognize these situations. That's where the simulation part of it needs to always be precedent in any sports title. You're welcome to play it however you want to play it. But the principles and fundamentals and environments, et cetera, should all matter. But that's really all I got to say on it. They are absolutely two different crowds. And as far as companies, I think definitely companies go with who's, buying it and who's they getting their dollar from. And one could definitely say that's the hardcore crowd. It ain't necessarily the sim crowd. Because think about it. A lot of us guys in this, sim video game community, what do we always say? A lot of people say, I ain't buying that. And there's a lot of hardcore sim guys that don't buy the game. There I go again, putting the words together. But you guys get my point. True to life sim guys, there's plenty of them that don't buy Madden, don't play it. There's some fakers also. Because there's a lot of people who complain about the game, but they put numerous hours into the game, which is very funny to me. But there's a large crowd of people that don't play it. Perfect example, Madden 15, the sales increased. We know this. We know that it was because of people who actually said, hey, the game ain't bad now. It's a lot of people who came back to it. Some of the simulation principles that they tried to instill in 15 were attractive to certain people, and they got more sales. Because, like I said, those casual people buy every year. So really, in reality, the diehard football guys are the ones that you need to get back. So they will buy. An example we always use, and we're going to use rough numbers here, so don't quote me. I know people are going to say, oh, you're wrong, but roughly, Madden 05 sold 6 million, 7 million copies. 2K5 sold 3 million, 4 million copies, something like that. My question has always been, and I've even asked an executive at EA, I've spoken to Roy Harvey about this. I said, hey, has anyone ever asked themselves, why aren't we selling 10 million? Where are those 3 to 4 million people that used to buy that game? When we took it over, how come now we don't sell 8, 9 to 10 million copies? So those are the people, you need to get that die-hard 2K football crowd to be in love with your game. So that's just my piece on it, man, as far as the company. I think they know. They know. They definitely know who their crowd is. It goes back to what we said last week about telemetrics. They're not dumb. And this is something we've told you guys forever. It ain't the devs. It ain't us. We know what we want. The devs know what they want. Is, you have to convince the shareholders and the decision makers, because for them it's all about the bottom dollar. And for that part, I'm not going to say the sim community is not respected, but they ain't listening to that. I bet you if we was the ones that if they did a poll and they showed diehard sim guys, well, is 3 million of their hypothetically 5 million sales, I bet you they'd be listening in. They go where the money's at. Don't get it twisted. So that's how I kind of feel about that, man. But, Smitty, I'm definitely going to give you the lead on this because you had me cracking up when we talked about this one, man. Let's talk about this NBA 2K15 thing, man. It might have been funny that we didn't see a whole lot of complaints. I don't really recall seeing too many videos of the glitch and too many people saying this is ridiculous. I didn't see that. Now, if that would have happened in any other game, especially a game like Madden, wow. Prime example, before I throw it to Smitty. Y'all remember the little mini Titan? Now, in all honesty, that was a bug and a mistake. But that got more criticism than something that you can actually do every time in 2K. This guy showed you that this can be done at will. But nobody was as mad about a glitch that can be done at any time they want versus a glitch. And again, folks, don't twist my words. This is not Madden versus 2K. I'm just calling a spade a spade. That mini Titan was a random bug. It ain't like nobody could just make it happen. You would go through the Ultimate Team thing, and once you got to one of those challenges, he came in or whatever. But it wasn't like I could just go in and always pull him up. And this 2K thing, anybody could do it. I could go in right now with MyPlayer and glitch my way to the top. How is that not more of an issue and getting more attention? Please explain to that. Tell us, Smitty, man, what is going on out here?
Well, this is the bias that we talk about, man. I mean, if it says 2K on the front cover, there's no need to say anything. It's it's an issue, it's a problem, but it gets addressed so it gets addressed so subtle to the point like it's just like it's an issue. And I mean, what shocked me was I'll give you an example of somebody like for example, that's a guy that's been very adamant in regards of saying all kinds of things about what's wrong with Madden, all up and down the wall. But then when this 2K glitch hits the surface, I only seen one tweet. 2K15 MyPlayer glitch. And then there's a video after it. And I'm like, now this is interesting. All day long I could get tweets about Madden. about how it's messed up, how it's bad, how ain't nobody listening, how it's all these things, blase, split. Every single flaw that happens in Madden is just so, oh my gosh, I can't believe it happened. But then here this happens. You have people that could cheat. I mean, look, it wasn't bad enough that you had people 90 plus overall on the part after less than 48 hours of release when Ronnie 2K and LD 2K were in their streams saying, "Oh, holler at me in 7-8 months, you might be there." Like, no, like that wasn't bad enough. But now, you got all this cheese and everything that goes on, which we all know online cheese happens in these games. That's not new. But what I'm saying is, how come it is so lightly talked about? When it happens in one game, it's lightly talked about. But when it happens elsewhere, oh man, we got to blow open the floodgate about it. And I mean, some of these gameplay issues that happen in 2K have been going on for, like I said, they've been going on for nearly a decade. And nothing it's all cool and copacetic because it's got cute looking animation, so it's okay. Like, no, it's not okay for anyone. You know what I'm saying? So it's not okay for EA. It's definitely not okay for 2K or Konami or whomever the heck makes the game. It wasn't okay for Natural Motion when they made their game. So why would it be okay for these guys? You see what I'm saying? I mean, you have people unlocking animation sets that you shouldn't even be able to unlock until you're the elite of the elite, and you're able to just fully access it right now. Just go right in the game, create your player, and you could be 7'2", handling the ball like it's nothing. You could be a 5'4" center. You know what I'm saying? How would you feel going on the court playing against a 5'4" bruiser? He sets a pick, he says you flying, and you ain't nothing you can do about it. You see what I'm saying? But that's okay though. But then when it comes to Madden and the problems that are happening. And oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Oh my gosh, I can't believe, like, okay, well, like, cause when I tweeted about that problem, and I said that it's messed up in regards to 2K, because I enjoy that game. I thoroughly enjoy that game. But when I point that out, all of a sudden I'm getting tweets about a play that happened in Madden where you had a blocker tackled the O-line. I mean, an O-lineman tackled the ball carrier.
That was crazy.
I mean, that's a crazy play. Don't get me wrong. So I'm not saying, that bypass. Like, we never give any passes on any of the games. But nevertheless, all of a sudden, that's the point of emphasis. And I mean, timeline all of a sudden just go on and on and on about what happened in that clip right there. But this big time glitch, these guys are. You have a guy in Lob Mob, which he's 100% unbiased, and I commend him for what he does. He's up here saying 2K is dead. The online has been destroyed because of this. It was already messed up, and he already makes it clear, like, yeah, you see people hacking the game, like they're hacking this game. And we already know 2K has a bad reputation for their online play. So what do you think? What do you think is going to happen with 2K16? Oh, you got Spike Lee directing and all that. Okay, that's great. But what about online? You see what I'm saying? Oh, it's coming out on the you could get the game 4 days, 4 or 5 days early.
Hey, Smitty, real quick, I had to interrupt real quick. There's a 2K commercial on right now. Or if you're watching the finals. 2K commercial right now. Let's see what they're going to show. And you know me. I'm about to use the DVR. I'm going to go back and record it on the phone. Let's just see what they talk about. It's funny. It was right on cue because Smitty just said, they didn't show nothing.
Nothing?
They didn't show anything. It wasn't. Let me go back. There wasn't any gameplay. It was Spike Lee talking. And don't get me wrong, guys. We're not expecting gameplay this early. But you know what? Let's do something different real quick. And Smitty,
okay.
Let's hold on for a second. I'm going to play it. I'm going to turn it up. And you guys, matter of fact, we're going to do a test. Y'all let me know if you can hear. And I'll let everybody hear what it was. So that way we can all hear it here together. Beauties of having a DVR, boy. Technology.
Basketball game exists in fact was number 4.
Could you guys hear that?
Barely.
You can hear that pretty good? All right, hold on. Let me move the mic closer, and I'm gonna play it. Rewind it so that way we can all hear what it's about.
But I think he's kind of nailing it.
You hear that, Fred?
Yeah.
They don't need me right now.
All right, we're about to start hearing it.
No basketball game exists in fact was number 4. What will follow? On these courts, the story is everything. The story can turn a jump shot into the shot. Here's Michael at the foul line. He gives his underdogs upset, not his haters. He brings all together to understand it's not just a court, it's an epicenter. So, what will your story be? NBA 2K16 starring Spike Lee, joint product, not yet rated.
Okay, guys. So what I gathered from that, I'm not going to dive in too far on that because I would need to really look at it again. And I don't know if they're trying to demonstrate more park stuff because they show it. Obviously, it's in New York. They show the subway. They show inside the gym. They show outside the gym. They show Madison Square Garden. But what I did get from it is they said, be the story. So I wonder what that means. What does be the story? What is that going to mean? What exactly does that have anything to do with, enhanced story mode or what have you? I don't know. But you guys heard it here as well. I'm sure we'll all see it a ton of times after tonight. But again, like I said, it didn't show any gameplay or anything like that, no trailer or anything like that, so I don't want to get everybody's hopes up. It was funny that as soon as Smitty said something about Spike Lee, here's Spike Lee, and I saw it say 2K Sports, so that was kind of crazy how that happened. But just wanted to bring that to you guys live radio, man. That's what we do. But sorry about that, Smitty. You were making a point on something. I don't know if you remember.
No, it's kind of a thing. It kind of flipped. Well, I was just basically saying, I was like, just to sum up, talking about the the 2K, the flaws, like I get flooded with a bunch of tweets and everything about 2K. About Madden and how it has its flaws, which are basically the exact same thing that's been said time and time again. But then something like this is game breaking, and my dude Lob points this thing out, and he talks about the good, the bad, the ugly of the game, and he's saying the game was basically destroyed. The online part, at least, the game was destroyed because of what happened. Now, people do not buy this game to play offline primarily. They buy this game to play online, and if you're not able to go online because of that kind of problem, that's a serious problem. And that's going to make people look at Live 16 and honestly take that into consideration and be like, yo, I may holler at that live. Because it's being heavily slept on. I know we're going to touch on that real quick, but that game's being slept on. And if these dudes don't come right, and I ain't talking about graphics and cute looking animations and all that stuff, because we already know 2K going to have all that. We know that. But if the gameplay is not being refined and they are not addressing legacy problems and just lacing it up with using the whole Spike Lee angle as the big time selling point, just like they did with Jay-Z a few years ago, all that stuff's not gonna matter. You know what I'm saying? Especially if Live 16 does come with it. So I seriously hope that these games both do push each other as we want. That's what competition does. But this is a big time. Like I said, I never seen it be so quiet in regards of the gameplay issue this detrimental being put out there, and you could hear a pin drop in regards of how many people have something to say in regards of it. Especially guys that play 2K hand over fist, play games online and all that stuff, and you have this kind of cheesy stuff happen, and they just whatever. But man, let me tell you about 8 million things wrong with that. Like that's where the bias comes in. That's what we talk about, the bias right there. It's literally right there. So I'll throw it to you, man.
Man, shoot, hey, you killed it. I don't think there's anything I could add to that. we can leave it right there because that runs us right to the next topic. And shout outs real quick to I'm a effing problem on Twitter, as well as I believe that might be his gamer tag. He just tweeted me. He said that he thinks it means a Spike Lee themed MyPlayer story. That would make sense. That would make sense. You know, with him saying "be the story," and of course it is Spike Lee. Spike Lee is known as being this big time director. So I'll be interested to see exactly what that means and how that pans out. But you know, I'll just go into the next topic, man, and it's all going to come down to NBA Live 16. And the reason why I say that, man, is I understand a lot of people didn't spend any time with the game. I would be the first to say it in motion. The game just looks blah sometimes. I mean, it's an ugly game. Not only does it look ugly, it's stiff, it's stagnant at times as far as the movement, and it's hard to look at in motion. And then when you throw 2K in, it just looks so much better. And not just look, it's just the fluidity of the movements are better, even with their legacy problem. But if you take NBA Live for what it is, and if you play it, and break it down, there is definitely some nice stuff that goes on in that game. I got some footage, and I don't know when I'm going to get to the video because I'm actually a little behind in my videos coming out. I got something that's going to go up today. I think it'll be a 2K8 video. But there's some stuff in that game. I mean, right off the bat, I think when it works, the ball tangibility to me is better than what we see in 2K. The blocking, the way they block the shot, the way they go after rebound. I mean, how they attack it. I mean, it is times when it really looks like everyone around the ball is doing different things. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some, oh my God, awful looking stuff in that game. But we're just talking about surface. Just talk about the surface. There's a lot of basketball that happens in that game, especially when you use the auto motion. You hit the L1. Man, I mean, you see some good stuff. Like I got a video I captured with great head tracking. I mean, phenomenal head tracking I was playing against Zach Randolph. Or I might have been playing with the Grizzlies. I don't remember. But just it's some stuff in that game, man. I mean, that will make you say, hey, if they clean this, get that right, we talk about a competitor. So I'm very interested in seeing what Live 16 brings to the table for multiple reasons. I want it to be a polished game. This is year 3. It can't look the way it looks now. The motion, at least the way it looks in motion, has to be, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this, it has to be close to 2K or the same. It has to, in motion, at least get that right. Because if you at least do that, then you get more people that can play it and see what it has to offer. So if you're not ready yet to compete, which, you still probably won't be all the way there, at least get that right. Because think about it. The biggest complaint from most people has been the way it looks. Remember, we've been saying that since Live 14. Oh, it just looks so bad. I can't stomach it. But guys like us, we take the time and we play the ugly game. We've done it with all these games, backbreaker and all of that. And we come back and we tell y'all what we noticed that was good. Live has some stuff to offer. I actually see people out there saying, hey, man, Live won't that bad. There's people who love the game. Guys like NY Kia will let you know he can show you stuff that's done very well in Live, as well as a guy like Tico. Some of you guys may know him as Takari. He's a guy that's big. He has a YouTube channel. He does a lot of live stuff. I mean, and if you watch these guys' videos, you see basketball. Might not be the prettiest, but you definitely see principles happening. So I'm excited to see what Live 16 has to offer, because I really want this year to be the year that we can really say, oh, okay, yeah, they compete. I don't want it to be an option no more. Because to me, and I'll kind of tie this in real quick with like the Joe Montana thing. I'm tired of a game just being an option. And that's why I'm kind of hesitant about, I can't wait to see what Joe Montana has, because I know we just want options, but let's be honest, guys. Just an option people lose interest in that. Just an option, people stop playing it. People don't support it. So in reality, what could happen is the game could be made and it's quote unquote just an option. It dies out, no support, and they made it for no reason. And I know it's year one for them, but I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Like even with live, if it's not like a respectable competitor this year, it's kind of like you're spinning wheels, man. I mean, if you ain't got it by year 3 to where it's at least a solid game, it's taking you way too long, and it's gonna be, you're not gonna be able to catch up. But that's just how I feel about it, man. And what you think, Smitty?
Yeah, no, I feel the exact same way in that regard. I mean, it has to, it definitely has to be, it has to be I thought it just slipped my mind. Oh, now the game, no doubt, it has to be a game with some great quality in it. I mean, just like what you said, basically, because that's where I was thinking along that line. But if the game is looked at as just an option, then yeah, like I said, it's going to fizzle out and die, just like we saw happen with Backbreaker, because that was an option. It was a passable, decent option. It had some good stuff in it, but it wasn't a game that was just like, yo, this is legit. And the thing is, live wasn't as, like when we talk about live and everything, live wasn't up to that snuff. It wasn't up to that part where it could be that when Live 14 came out. But you had people that played the game for what it was and saw the basketball in it and said, yo, hey, real talk, they got some things in here that if they just keep building upon it, they can have something in the future. And that's what happened with Live 15. They did build upon some things, but one thing they cannot do, though, they got to get, I mean, this is some EA, they got to get over this whole thing with putting things in and taking them out. Because you had manual bounce passes and manual lob passes in the game. And I'm talking about, like, lobbing the ball into the post. Like, you had that control in 14, and you took it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you can't, like, that whole tradition, they got to kill that. They got to kill that tradition with all these games. I mean, I don't know what goes in and out of FIFA or whatever, but bottom line is that they got to kill that. Like, they got to get this stuff going the right way in terms of adding these aspects. I mean, those are aspects of basketball, and it's being took out the game. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you can't be doing that kind of stuff. Like, build upon it, put these controls in there, and you only take out control. You should, at least that's how I feel. You should only take control and things of that nature out when it's overly detrimental. You know, when it's a detriment to the product. Not just because, and there's no true user feedback given and saying, hey, you know what, people on the forums are saying they don't like this or these particular controls aren't being used or whatever. You know, but don't just rip something out the game that's a fundamental asset to the game. It needs to be there. So, but no, what I was going to say was, like, if I have players that are fronting in the post, like if they're behind the defender, I don't even bother trying to throw it over top because I have no control over it. You know what I'm saying? And if I have no control, that may be a money turnover right there because it's just automatically being thrown. So, that's why I said, like, I want to have control over those aspects of the game. But no, overall, I mean, look, Live 16 being in the E3 booth is going to be big. That is a big thing. Now, how playable will it be or whatever? I would assume people could put their hands on it. So that would be awesome if you could. That would show a lot. Yeah. So we're gonna see what happens with that. I don't know exactly, but we're gonna see what these guys unveil. In the presentation, I would assume they're gonna show something. But in addition to that, from people being able to put their hands on it. And, of course, Sim's going to be there to give his impressions of it. So I definitely look forward to what he has to say about it. And, of course, like I said, any additional footage or interviews in terms of what's going to be happening in the game, that's going to be awesome. So I look forward to all that.
Yeah, man. I plan to interview everybody that I can. So I'm going to put that out there for any of you guys who are listening. I mean, not even just sports games. Anything that you want to see and hear, I'm going to try to get all of that. Definitely for you guys, I have to mention this for you guys who've actually, donated to the cause. I appreciate you immensely. I mean, it's 5 guys. They know who they are. Hey, man, I mean, very touching. I appreciate that. And anybody else who may donate, you guys definitely, anything that you want, I am on that. I am working for you to get that information. But 2 quick things I want to say before we open it up for the call is definitely we're going to get 757 in first. And then after that, it'll be 205 and then 337. Looking at this finals game, man, it's going to be interesting. This first 5 minutes or so has been something. I'm seeing some things that we talked about happening already. This is going to be a very interesting final. But last thing I want to talk about with 2K and the passing, Smitty reminded me of that when he spoke about what Live had. I did a video not too long ago, and shout outs to NY Kia and DJ81 because they put in the comments, hey, you can already do that. And I could be wrong. I admit when I'm wrong. I'm a man. I have no problem with admitting that. But the video that I did, I said 2 suggestions for a 2K16. I want to have the ability to, lead the pass. And also I want the AI to recognize the situation. Now, these guys let me know, and I actually need to go back into practice mode and, play around with it. And I believe you can actually do a directional passing now. Excuse me. But if you guys saw the video, I don't know if you can do it like what I was stating in that video. I don't know if I can lead him back out to the 3-point line. If you can, great. I was wrong. I would accept that. I just need to get my game up. I need to laugh a little bit. I don't mind admitting that. But I'm not sure you can, what I was trying to say in that video, as, I had the guy on the wing, and there was 2 defenders in the paint. I wanted him to stay there. So I'm holding the left analog stick to pass it to him there. Excuse me. And maybe, it is another button I need to press. But let's just say this. I want it to be simpler than that. Why can't I just lead it with the left stick? If I wanted to, want him to stay behind the arc, let me lead him in that spot. And again, I want the AI to recognize the situation. You a 3-point shooter at the top, you right there. Why would you run into the middle of the defense? So that's what I was trying to say. But, I appreciate the guys letting me know, nah, man, you can actually do that already. Go try it out for yourself. But do you know about that, Smitty? Like, have you seen the directional passing to that extent or no?
In what? I'm sorry. In what? Mad? I mean, not Mad. I'm sorry. And in Live 15.
I mean 2K. 2K. No, 2K15.
In 2K15. I haven't utilized it like that. I usually do icon passing.
Right.
Because I like to play it better safe than sorry. So, yeah. But no, if that's the case, then that's something I would have to go into the practice gym and just experiment with.
Yeah, me too. I definitely got to laugh at. But all right, guys, we're down to exactly 40 minutes. So let's bring 757 on. Definitely let him get his piece. I know quite a few guys I've been brought to my attention that quite a few of you listen online. If you want to call in, you can reach us at 914-338-0794, as well as, when you get on the line, press 1. Press 1. We'll see you in the queue. We'll bring you in. And, again, the order will be 757. He does his normal segment, then 205, and then 337 as of now. So let's go ahead and get 757 in on the line. What's going on tonight, man? I know you got something for us.
What's going on, fellas? The moment that you guys last year, the devs said your name as a feature that was put in 15 that was suggested by you guys that needs to be in the game, wide receiver DB interaction, needs to be presented as the number one feature, and you guys were the name that they said, as we hearing you guys, shout out to you, it changed you guys' brand. Whether people want to admit it, don't want to admit it, it did. Because it put y'all on a platform where everything that y'all have been saying in the show, people had to realize was getting across to the ears of the devs. And it created what I'm seeing, a level of jealousy. What I don't want to see is you get caught up in it. And I know it's hard.
Right. Yeah.
I know it's hard because a lot of people sit there on social media and anybody can be a tough guy with a keyboard or a smartphone. But we come from a different area where we come from in VA. We don't do a lot of talking, and we'll fight to the death. And I think we don't display it, we don't glorify it, but we understand the area that we come from, that we don't tolerate bullshit. That's just how we get down. And we need you guys, and especially you, because you're the one who's not afraid to hit send and say what the hell is on your mind. And you really don't care because you're not going to come at me crazy. And the guys play on that because I feel that they see you guys' influence in what's going on in this game and they don't want it. They don't like it. And they can say whatever they want to say because if you didn't, some of the things that come out of people's mouth that has nothing to do with what is going on with Madden football, it becomes a personal attack. That means there's something else going on. So I look at you, Sim. I look at Smitty, who just went on the other radio show, and he's in sharp waters because he's the one that when he goes on those other shows, Smitty, I heard how they try to take little shots so you don't feed into it. You just state the facts, and I'm proud of you for that. But the immaturity level that takes place in this arena is sad because whether they want to admit it or not admit it, we're all trying to get to the same place. And that's not righting the wrongs that Madden has made in the past, but making sure they don't make those same mistakes again. That's all we want. We want the best replication of what we want in a football game, and you guys are a voice in that room that they listen to. So I need you guys to stay the course of what needs to be done. We've had the other guy, the older gentleman who was also in the room, who was one of the trailblazers for what is going on, and he messed it up. Whether it was feeding into negativity, whether it was another game changer getting at him, or whatever the situation was, but we lost one of the guys in the room. We don't need to lose none of them because it ain't that many of y'all in there. It's not that many that can say what needs to be said and the feedback be replicated and that they listen. Don't want to talk about sports and Madden and all of that. People got to grow up and be men and understand at the end of the day it's a video game, and whether how you say it, how I say it, or one of these other guys who are on YouTube are saying it, we all want the same result. Mm-hmm. So my thing to you guys is to stay the course, man. Don't feed into the bullshit, the negativity, and the madness. We need you guys to stay the course. Because you guys are not sim players. I don't look at y'all as sim players or hardcore players. I look at y'all as video game and football historians, as I am, who have seen it from the very beginning, from Atari until now. So we've understood the plight of where video games has been, where they at, and where they need to go. Fellas, Sim, you still ain't hit me up yet. Still waiting on it.
Yeah, I meant to hit you earlier. I
Hey,
got you.
take your time. It's all good. Just hit me up from the crib. So we need to wrap.
Yeah, I got you,
Stay
man.
the course. Stay the course, man. I love what you guys are doing. I don't give a damn what they say because I own a company. And I know how difficult it is to navigate through situations where you're trying to please the casual gamer, the sim gamer, and the hardcore gamer. And how difficult that is to make everybody happy because they don't so much care about the demographic that's 30 and over. They need to get the kids who are 7 years old all the way to 18 years old now, that next generation of guys, to continue to play the game. Because they know we're going to pick it up and get what we need to get out of it. But they can't make it so difficult that my son can't figure out how to play it. It makes them nervous. Because they say, well, what are we going to do when the sim standard guys or the hardcore gamers put down the joystick? How can we make it for the next generation to make sure that they're able to come in and feel comfortable with playing it? And I've always said you have to teach it. You have to put different things in the game to explain football because a lot of cats don't understand coverages. They don't understand routes. They don't understand how to get a receiver open when he's double covered. You do, Smitty, because you play with Megatron. So if somebody's running under over coverage, you know where you need to throw the ball. But it's somebody else who's using Detroit that doesn't. And they need to teach it and show it. And you guys got to keep explaining to them. Give them the tools and help them. And we'll do the legwork. Y'all guys have a nice day, man. And stay the course. That's it.
No doubt, man. Well, we appreciate you. And, man, I was just thinking that earlier today and the day before that. I was like, I still ain't hit my man. But I'm going to try to hit you tomorrow, man. I don't know. I think we still connected on the book, on Facebook. So, if you want to let me know how your schedule look, I work from home or what have you. So I might hit you tomorrow during the day. I know tomorrow evening might be crazy for both of us, as far as Friday. But I'm definitely going to hit you up. But, yeah, man, what he said is exactly that. It's almost like we almost really don't have to say anything because the proof is out there. If you, because we get this all the time. They don't listen to y'all. Da, 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 da. Listen, man, I still got that live stream on my channel. Rex said out of his mouth, yeah, I know my Sim Standard guys, it ain't quite where they want it yet, but come on, son. Listen, we can't make that up. It ain't like I called him and was like, Rex, give us a plug. Come on, Rex, come on. I mean, come on, man. I mean, if you're not seeing it for yourself, that's all I'm saying. I am nobody's celebrity. I am not tooting no horn. I'm just saying. That should have been confirmation right there that they are listening to us. And what else do we tell you? It ain't all on the devs. The devs have a plan, but there's somebody else who has to allow the plan to be carried out. Don't lose sight of that, man. We tell y'all so much truth. It's fascinating to me how certain people can find so much quote-unquote dirt on me or throw so much dirt on my name. They can dig all this and read through between these lines and cross these words up and mix this word up, but they can't see what's clearly the truth. That is hilarious within itself. But like my man 757 said, I'm definitely going to stay the course, man, and not feed into it. And that's why I said what I said about the whole E3 bit. I ain't going there for that. So I just want that man to know that too, in case what, folks are saying is coming from his side. Go ahead with that. We ain't on that. We off that. Do you, I do me, and let's both do what we need to do for this football gaming community, period. But all right, man, let's go ahead and take some other callers. 205, we're bringing you in. 337, then after that, 704. 205, Alabama. What's going on with you tonight, man?
Pretty good, guys. How are y'all?
Hey, what's happening?
Pretty good, man.
Just a few little things. About E3, I know you're not going to get in any trouble, Sim, because, it's not like that, and it never has really been. You're not in that side. You're not on that side. Nobody really cares about that side. That's why I don't get on Twitter. I just talk to certain people that, has my same views or even close to my same views, and then the rest of them will fade to the, wayside. So, I left that junk alone a few months ago, and I appreciate everything y'all do on this radio show, man, and I appreciate, y'all being here even after, quote unquote, man, what's the name won't be said, but you know who I'm talking about. Y'all kind of had that split up. Y'all still came out with a radio show, and I think y'all actually are doing good for yourselves, man. Y'all got away from that drama, and that's a good thing to see. Just a few little points that I want to hit on. What I tweeted out today, it really, I guess, to me, it wasn't about Madden. I know it always goes back to that, but my thing is, I was just kind of saying, is a hardcore gamer, different from a sim gamer? Meaning, like, I see other communities who call themselves hardcore gamers, who love Metal Gear Solid and Battlefield and stuff like that, Call of Duty. I really don't never see them fighting between themselves about how the game should be or anything like that. I just, most of the time, see them kind of having a conversation and actually trying to push the gaming genre forward as far as, their little niche community goes. That would be nice to see in the sports gaming community, but I really don't think this community is all about the sports game anymore. I kind of think it's more about the ego and who can get over on the next guy. As far as a sim gamer goes, I call myself a sim gamer, but I guess you could call me a hardcore gamer too, I guess, considering I don't just play, sports games. I love all kinds of genres of games, fighting games, first-person shooters, so on, stuff like that. And just to kind of also point out that I was just wondering if maybe the sim community, not necessarily is disrespected, but maybe we disrespect the developers a little bit too much and criticize them for things they really don't have control of. That's kind of where I want to leave it. I have a great night. Love y'all's show. And that's pretty much all I got to say, guys.
Definitely appreciate that, man. You got any reflections for him, Smitty?
No, not really. I mean, he got it. He got it all right there, man. I mean, we just do. The thing at the end of the day, we just do what we can do. Just do what we can. Because the thing is, we are being. That's a crazy thing. All the money that Ultimate Team makes, all this other stuff that's made, but the money that's made and the sales and all that stuff. But yet you got Rex, the creative director of the game, up here saying, hey, the Sim Standard guys are going to like that. But you know what? We haven't, and this was the key thing people missed. We didn't fully realize out the vision of everything with it. We still got a lot of work. We still got a lot more work to do in regards to that. So, we got things coming with that. So, just stay tuned. People ain't pay attention to that.
Nah, they don't.
So.
Whoa, man. Look, I have to say this. I hope you guys are watching the finals. This game is getting. I mean, it's revving up to be a heck of a series because Cleveland is being very physical, and it's a lot of fouls already I'm seeing on both sides. It's gonna be an interesting series, man. I'm very much enjoying this. But let's go ahead and move on to 337, man. Definitely, because we have two more calls in the queue now. Like we said, 704 and then 407. 337, man. We got you in live, man. What's going on tonight?
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
Yo, what's going on?
Good, man. What's up, man?
First of all, I wanted to say something to Sim. On Twitter, man, it looks like I've seen a message that I already sent you on YouTube, but it was like auto spell. But what I wanted to say was I was explaining to that guy that was on YouTube because I was a humble and stand up and God-fearing man. I wasn't trying to say that I did what I did because of that. I was trying to say why I explained myself to that guy on Twitter. But I just responded to you later on YouTube because I respond to all my comments on YouTube. So that's all that is. I wasn't trying to boast or nothing or anything like that. Now that's terrified. I want to get to what I really want to talk about, and that is the fact that the developers, I understand from what you guys are saying, don't really have the final say. and that's cool. But it's just certain things that I want to see fixed that I think the developers are responsible or accountable for it, and that's like certain glitches. And I think they need to clean up some of the glitches, especially in CFM. I think I mentioned these before, but I think those are the things that need to be cleared, and especially with the Infinity engine. I mean, never should a defensive player hit an offensive player with the ball forward for yards. That just doesn't happen in real life. I just don't see that. I mean, I have seen it on the goal line where, there's a push or a struggle or some type of battle, but it was like a tug of war type deal. It wasn't just, hit the guy forward like with full force. And I was like, they should put a horse collar tackle and put that penalty in there, because I see a lot of horse collar tackles in there. And I know they don't want to do that, the NFL shield or something like that. I don't know what the deal is, but I see horse collar happen all the time at Madden 15, Madden 25, even Madden 13, and they never call it. So those are some things that I want to see happen. And that's all I really want to talk about. It was something else on my mind, but I forgot, but I'll probably call you guys next week. But that's all I have to say. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night.
Yeah, man, same to you, and definitely to clear up. I know some of you guys may be wondering what he's referring to. I don't think he minds me saying this. He's one of the guys that actually did donate to the cause. I'm not going to say how much. That's not you guys' business. I'm sure he doesn't need you to know that. But hey, man, real recognize real, man. When I didn't take anything by that comment. I knew what you was trying to say. You know what I mean? But as you can tell, other people may think something else. And it's always funny to me how people can't take stuff for what the real context is. But again, thank you for doing what you did. Hey, I already explained to you how I felt about that, so I'm not gonna, go into that. But definitely, I understood what you was trying to say. But he makes a good point, and definitely, I'll throw it to Smitty in a sec before we take the other two callers, because I want to hear your take. He made a very good point, and he stated things that are in the game that needs to be fixed. I agree with that 1,000%, because it's not like, we always say, oh, the developers can't do this, they can't do that, they don't have the final say. But anything that's currently in the game, in my opinion, that's priority every year. To me, physics should be priority every year until it's phenomenal, until it's perfect, because it's in the game currently. Anything that's CFM and all that, that should be priority every year. It's already there. So I am in full agreement with that. And I'm sure Smitty feels the same way. And the key thing is that 337 said, he gave his opinion on stuff that's in the game already. I can't agree more on that. It's not like he's saying, all this extra stuff. He understands that, but what he's saying is, look, I don't understand you not fixing this and not fixing that, and it's already there. Don't give me that jazz about time and resources and all that, because don't just give us some halfway done stuff. Absolutely. What you think, Smitty? I'm pretty sure you're along those same lines.
Yeah. No, I really don't have anything additional to say, because, that's straightforward it right there. You know what I'm saying? There are aspects and elements in game, and see, that's the thing people don't pay attention to. Some of these elements are in the game, like they're priming the game to take it to another level. That's why we say, like, some things, that's why I said this a long time ago, some things in terms of the games, and it's just in general, some games you have to build things up to a certain point before you can move forward. And that's just the way things are. It's got nothing to do with feeling yourself or saying that, they just don't want to do it or they're just not going to. Like, no, it just takes time. Some things take time because you got to build it up first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't, like, it's like building a building. I can't build the third floor without building the first and the second. You see what I'm saying? I just can't say, well, I'm just going to build the third floor and it's just going to some way, somehow, with nothing underneath it. Like, no, I have to build it up first. So you see things primed going up to the next game and so on and so forth. So, that's why I think, my man hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, he really did. And just another quick update, LeBron is balling. I'm just going to say that. These boys up by 10, they look like they mean business, man. And I'm going to tell you, if they mess around and snag game one, oh boy, that gets very interesting. Well, let's go ahead and get the next caller, 704. We got you in live, man. What's going on tonight?
What's going on, guys? I hope everybody doing all right tonight. Checking these crazy playoffs out, man. It's getting crazy.
Yeah, man.
I'm the guy that posted the video this morning about the head tracking on Twitter.
Oh yeah. What's up, man?
What's going on? And I'm pretty much new to to you guys' video. Oh, actually been watching Sim for about a year and a half now, and kind of getting your take on different things. Then I've kind of branched out and watched a couple other YouTubers, and now I'm seeing these guys. It's really twisted, guys. I think they're getting away from the real aspect of the game. Are you really wanting to talk about football, or are you really trying to assassinate somebody's character? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I really think that it was taken too far on my tweet. I thought that I honestly didn't know that you guys are really, I don't know if it's real beef or if it's an internet thing or what have you. I don't know anything about that. You know what I'm saying? I just yeah.
That's the funny thing. They got beef with me. I have no beef with nobody.
We don't have the beef. That's the whole point. It's not like as you saw who was posting all their messages, who was posting all them additional tweets. You see what I'm saying?
Right, but when I posted back and I said, can you see this, actual football play? I didn't get a response. Can you see football in this play? That's the game is developed on a computer. It's developed from, these guys are doing the best they can to develop this game. It's not going to be perfect. We got to understand that. To be honest with you, if it was actually like football, it would be boring. The reason I say it is because you can't play it. We would have to play 15-minute quarters. It would be boring. You can't play that. Me and my brother, we tried every now and again. We play, but you honestly, it's a video game at the end of the day. And another thing, Joe Montana. I haven't seen anything about Joe Montana. I think we can put that to rest until E3. Without marketing, I just don't. It's not like those Sega Genesis, Nintendo days. How I don't remember ever seeing commercials. I remember just going in the store. Oh, Joe Montana out. Boom, picking that up, and it's not.
Right.
It's about media. It's about the marketing right now. I just don't think that game. If it come out, I just don't know how it's going to sell. That's just my personal opinion. But I had a couple other things to say, not sure, but I enjoy to watch you, listen to you guys' show. I try to tune in it every much as I can, and I try to tag you guys on. Y'all keep doing what you're doing, man. Go down to E3 and represent, Jim.
I definitely plan on it, man. And hey, we thank you for your call, man. We appreciate it because I don't think you've called before, and we love it, man. We love the support. We love guys that tune in and get something out of the show. That's why we do it. We're definitely looking to turning this into more of a community show where you guys can provide the topics and let us, yap about what y'all want to hear about. But like you saw on Twitter, and I'll be honest in saying some of it I don't see because some guys I have blocked, so I don't know when they're tweeting and responding. I can only see if they're tagged.
I can reflect on it, but go ahead, man.
Yeah, and Smitty knows, but I'll just say this real quick. And listen, I'm not in the business of pointing fingers or anything like that, so I'm not gonna play that role. But if you just look at it, I never start anything. I never have a beef with anybody until I reply at times. But my replies are always that it comes from somebody saying something to me. You never use I mean, if I slipped up and did it one time, hey, nobody's perfect. But I can almost guarantee you've never really seen me come out and say something derogatory, outside of their name and all this. I don't do that. But people, not you, I'm just talking about other people always say, man, why you always beefing? Like, bruh, it ain't me. How you mad at me, but you won't say nothing to the other cat or these other guys? But you saw it for yourself today. That was living proof. You saw who replied and you saw who didn't reply. Those are facts. So real quick, Smitty, reflect on that, and then we'll grab 407.
All right. Yeah, no, I just want to say real quickly that, the point that was being made was that the point that my man was making was, do you see this play happening in Madden? Is this a football play? And yes, it is. If a ball is thrown in the air and a DB is looking at it, why would he take his eyes off of it as he's running in stride? Why would he take his eyes off the ball? It doesn't matter if he's running, because the point that was being made was that, well, why would he do that for 20 yards or 25 yards, have his head looking back at the ball the whole time? Why wouldn't he if he's looking at the ball? You see what I'm saying? And see, this is the point I made before as well. A game that's as dynamically chaotic as football, how are you going to all of a sudden write bylaws and tell, well, this is what should and should not happen? You have plays happen. A guy, Charles Tillman, primary example, Brian Dawkins, these are good, solid coverage defenders. And these are guys that have made plays on the ball where they literally are not looking the whole time until the very last second, and then they turn their head and they either catch it or they punch the ball out or slap it down. Now, when we see it happen in Madden, that's a psychic DB. How do you know to make the play? See? And that goes to show how many football players are you honestly paying attention to? You see what I'm saying? We as a community, we're not paying attention to every single sport. We get at EA and say they have all the footage and everything. They're using that footage. They're doing things are happening in the game that happen in football, and none of that stuff gets the recognition, because the popular thing to do, in which I had in the convo with VF the other day, the flaws is what gets the emphasis. It's not football that gets praised, it's flaws. And that's why the gentleman that was complaining, he's all about flaws. So of course you're not going to see football. Of course he's going to argue in a negative way, because he's all about negativity and flaws. So just move on from there. We'll go ahead and take the next call. Thanks to my man for calling in. Greatly appreciate it, 704.
Definitely appreciate that. And truth is, I'm going to throw this bug in y'all's ear. My man hit on something that was very key. And my man Shopmaster says this all the time. When the game gets to where we actually say we want it to be, yeah, okay, there's going to be a lot of people falling off. We're going to really find out who's a sim gamer. But outside of that, here's another nugget to that. When you start getting to the point where we get that player likeness like we always talk about, guess what? Some DBs watch the ball the whole time. Some DBs wait till the last minute. Some DBs face guard. So how can you really definitively say, oh, that was a flaw? Really? Because even, and listen, let's get this straight. We have to clear the air for people who twist the word.
Oh, yeah.
We're not saying it's done right in Madden. We're not saying that it shouldn't be better. What I'm merely saying is I've played Madden enough to know that even on my own CFM team, there are guys at times that play the ball, and then there's other guys that face guard most of the time. I've actually shown you videos of that. Probably within the last 6 or 7 videos, I did a Madden video showing that man coverage video I did. Didn't those guys play it differently? One of them looked real quick. The other one whooped the ball. The other guy played the receiver. So how can you definitively say that was a flaw? You can't. My man showed us a 20-second clip. But some people in the business of breaking down clips. But anyway, 407. Let's go ahead and get you in probably the last call of the night. What's going on, 407? What you got for us, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? King Havo, how you doing?
Hey.
Havo.
What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. It's funny. I was listening to the show, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're in the host queue. I'm like, all right, well, I'll be in the host queue then. So I'm here just hanging out, listening to you guys. Typical. I kind of wish. I figured I'll just chime in and give you guys maybe my opinion about how things are going. I'm not really keeping up with the tweets as far as the beef that's going on, but I do recommend. Sim, I recommend not even giving it any airtime. I mean, to be honest with you, it's a waste of your. I know you're defending yourself, and I know you're making sure that you put your, you put your opinion out there, and you make sure they know where you're coming from. But at the same time, it's not good for the show, in my opinion. I think you're giving whoever it is giving you beef airtime that I don't think is worthy. To be honest with you, I think it's better to leave it. Don't even pay attention like you try to do in your tweets. You're like, keep your name out of my mouth, like the way you say that. So all I could say is, I understand you defending everybody or yourself, but I would recommend just not even saying anything because it's not worth it. I mean, we want to hear us adults who are responsible, who have families and jobs and real lives. I mean, we want to hear about what matters, about the football, the sports, and all the other stuff is. It's like every show the past month has been like the first half an hour has been like, oh, this guy and that guy, and it's become out of control, man. It really has. So I just wanted to say that real quick, and you guys do what you do. Either way, we'll be listening, but I just think you guys are above that, to be honest with you. And as grown men, we all are. We don't need to hear that. If I want to go back to high school, I can rewind 25 years and go back, or however long it is. You know what I mean? It's like, come on. But anyways, one last thing I want to say. I put a video out this past week because I've been just busy putting things out left and right. And the one thing I want to say about Madden, I'm going to go play test it, as you guys know. And I appreciate you mentioning that. So I'll give you guys what I can. There's an NDA there, so I won't really get to say too much. But
it is.
I know there is. But I know E3's around the corner, so I'm thinking they can't hold me for too long. But, I look at that game as a person who never really even likes to play Madden anymore. I can't even get into it. The number one thing for me, and I kind of went back and forth with Smitty, was if they don't fix let's start with the running. I mean, if you can't fix the way the guys run, where they feel like they're not just gliding through the field, if you can't start there, and they've made some improvements, don't get me wrong, can't start with just the basics. Then I don't care about CFM. I don't care about mud. I don't want to see any of the icing. I want to see, like I said in my video, I want to see the cake. Go back to the beginning. And I know that they have a 1-year cycle where they're, where they only can do so much. I respect that and I get it. I'm a developer. I manage an IT team. I get it. But at the same time, look at visual concepts. I mean, look at that video by Lex, The Legend of 2K5. They started all the way back in like the 2K days, Dreamcast.
Yeah.
They didn't have 2K5 on year one. And I know you guys say it takes time, but I want to see the time spent. I want to say, you know what? I spent the majority of my budget trying to fix the entire running and the throwing and the basics. I don't want to hear about CFM, but I get that they're trying to sell the game. I understand that. I'll leave you guys with, whatever you want to leave you to make comments, but that's my 2 cents. If they want to build a game, I'll give you respect if you start with the basics. Put it in the running, put it in the animations, put it in a little bit of the physics. I don't want to hear about CFM. All right, guys, I'll let you go. I know it's late. We got the finals to watch, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Man, we definitely appreciate you calling. And we have 5.5 minutes. I'm going to try to make it quick because I want Smitty to reflect also. But you said a lot there. First thing I'll say is this. I'm glad you did clarify that there's an NDA. So you hear that, guys. He's letting you know he's going to play the game, but he can't speak on it until he's given the green light. Havo, I think you may be able to speak with us, if I'm not mistaken, because when you're NDA, we'll talk about that. So we'll see how that goes. So maybe you can talk to us about your experience. But also, what I wanted to mention, what he said there was, and first of all, I respect King Havo for saying what he said. Thank you very much, man. Thank you for pulling my coattail and saying, hey, leave that alone. And you see that? You see how he called here and told me what he didn't necessarily like that I do? and there was no problem. There was no beef. It was just him saying what he said. I respected, like, you know what, you're right. We do feed into it too much, and it's funny because I told Smitty and Azur, like, last week, I said, yo, man, I feel like the show is going in circles sometimes. We got to leave that alone. And I know it might come up, but if it comes up, we need to just quickly reference exactly what we're referring to, and boom. Like, we definitely got to go away from this guy, that guy, leave them alone. Leave them over there, we come over here. Thank you, King Harvo, for putting that in perspective. And the last thing I'll say, and then I'll throw it to Smitty, what King Harvo said, which may have gone over some people's heads, he'd rather see them spend time on fixing things than bringing all this new stuff in. So sometimes when we get caught up in saying, oh, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, didn't the developers say the exact same thing? I'm not defending them, but didn't Rex come on this show and say, look, man, there's a lot of old stuff we got to go in and rip out and fix it? Didn't he not say that? And look at that. King Harvo is telling you right there that's what he would rather happen. Most of us feel the same way. Fix the core game first. I don't want to see all these new features stacked on and then there's still underlying problems that cancels it out. Great comment, man. Appreciate your call. Go ahead, Smitty.
Yeah, I'll just say this real quick. Rex has said in interviews past and everything, we're not going to have a year where we're just doing bug fixes and that's it, and saying, hey guys, this year we just fix legacy issues. But they're not able to do that. No one is able to do that. No game out here, whether it's your favorite game or not, it's not going to happen that way. But you can address problems by way of innovation. And at the same time, you can eradicate issues if you have the time to do it. It's not just as simple as saying, well, we got the money. You got to have the proper time to do it as well. And that's why I brought up the point and emphasized they've had 2 shortened dev cycles with 25 and 15. Last full cycle that this current team has had was 13. So, and now 16 is a full cycle. And, Havo will get that chance to see what's up in a few days. Come Tuesday, he'll know what's up. So I hope when he calls in, he won't be able to say anything, in depth or anything like that, but he should definitely be able to, give a better feeling in terms of what he thought from what he played. So we'll see. And, you'll be hearing it from him, like you said earlier, completely objective. So there's no label of an agenda, quote unquote, or anything like that you'd be able to place over his head. And trust and believe, from the conversations I had with him and everything, you ain't got to worry about, you ain't going to hear anything like that. So, we'll see. We'll definitely see. So I look forward to his thoughts for sure.
Definitely,
and great
man.
call, by the way.
Yeah, great call, man. And just to try to help you out a little bit, Havo, if you could do this much, and we know what NDA is all about, but I'm hoping that when you come back on the show, you can at least say, you know what? These guys are trying to do something. I want to hear you either say that or say, I don't believe in this team. And that could be enough concrete. And that still won't, I guess it still won't give us everything, because then you still, guys would want to know, well, why does he feel that way? And he can't go into depth with that. But we'll figure something out. And like I said, I will check with, our contacts and find out, hey, anybody who's NDA, can we have conversations? And maybe, we can talk offline. But, yeah, man, it's been a great show. Looks like it's a great finals going on. Cleveland's up 36-33. I'm laughing at this guy Space playing the way he's playing. He didn't do that when he was at Philly, shooting from outside and whatnot. But anyway, great show, man. 25 seconds left, Smitty. You got any last words before we sign it off for the night?
This is a good NBA Finals. At least this game so far, it looks like Golden State is switching their style up right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is going to be a grit and grind kind of game right here, for real. Thanks for everybody that called in. We appreciate the continued support, no doubt. And SimHeads.com. Check out Havo's website, SimHeads.com. Check him out, too.
Ooh, that boy Steph Curry. All right, guys, we appreciate it. Thanks for everybody who called. Peace. We'll be back next week.
Peace.
Once again, guys, thank you for tuning in. And if you want to interact with me live, come on by Sim Standard Radio every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, along with Smitty and Azure Effect. If you want to give us a call, you can reach us at 914-338-0794. Of course, for more content, go ahead and click the link above. All right? Until next time, lights out.